Hey, this is Tyson with another bite-sized episode of the Maximum Lawyer Podcast. This week, what I want to do is I want to talk about the things you need to be asking your team on a monthly basis. Every single month, you need to be asking these questions, and especially your leadership team, you need to be asking these questions. Before I get to this, though, I do want to remind everyone that if you do have something that you want me to cover on the podcast, make sure you text me because I like to hear about topics that you all want me to cover. Make sure you text me at 314-501-9260. I would love to hear from you. There's a lot of great suggestions that we get every single week, and so make sure you send us a text. All right, let's get to today's episode, and this is going to be a short one, and it's going to be about the questions you need to be asking your team on a monthly basis. There's three main questions, and I'll tell you what else I do in my meeting. And I meet with the leadership team, and then the leadership team, they meet with each individual person to discuss these questions too. But the first question is what is one thing you're doing right now that you're the most proud of? So we want them to highlight their wins, and we go through those wins. And if they don't have any wins, guess what? We make them give us some wins. And you're not going to get off with saying, "Oh, I can't think of anything." Well, you're going to have to think of something, even if it's small, whatever it is to get that ball moving forward. That's a win. So we have them identify those wins. And then after that, I ask them, what is one thing you need to improve? All right. So we need to figure out, all right, where are they lacking? Where's something that they need to improve on? This could be personal too. It could be personal. It could be professional. This whole meeting is about them. Okay. This meeting is not about the firm. This meeting is about them. And you want to make sure that you're making it completely about them. And the way this topic came up actually was in the guild the other day. We had a member on the hot seat, and she asked, well, what are some questions I need to be asking my employees in these meetings? Because she was talking about how they do these check-ins with their employees. And so I want to make sure I told people the things that we ask. So that's how this came up. But remember, you want to make sure that this is about them. It's not about you, not about the firm. And then the third question is, so after you've asked them, what is one thing you need to improve? Then you're going to get into how are you going to make that improvement over the next 30 days? Or maybe you're not able to make the full improvement. How can you chip away at that and start to get better at it? And so you're going to start that over the next 30 days. And after that, so how we make that improvement, this is a big part, because this is probably the biggest part of the entire meeting, where sometimes you have to brainstorm a little bit. Sometimes you have to go back and forth and have a discussion about how that improvement needs to be made. And so sometimes it's simple, sometimes it's more difficult, but this is a pretty key one. After that, though, you'll always want to ask those three questions. Another thing that I do on top of this is I take notes. I take detailed notes of every single one of these meetings. So every single meeting that I've had with them, I've taken notes. So make sure you have the exact same notebook you use, or if you use an electronic notebook, use something to take the notes. So keep those notes. I will then go back to at least the last month, or I'll even go farther back than that if I think that they're trying to BS me on some things, but usually they're not. So we'll go and we'll say, okay, over the last 30 days, this is what you said you wanted to improve on. How did you do on those things? And so it's a really helpful way of incorporating some accountability, which most people wouldn't think this, but they actually really like. They really like to have that accountability to make sure that they're on track. And the last thing that you want to do is I always end by saying, is there anything else you need from me? Right? Anything I can do to help you with your job, make your job easier, that kind of a thing. And if you do those, if you ask those three questions and you ask those follow-up questions at the end, I guarantee you're going to get happier employees, because they're going to be improving. They're going to be doing better. They're going to be celebrating their wins. And they're also going to know that you actually care. So, or incorporate this into your monthly process, and I promise you're not going to regret it. All right. Before we go, I want to tell you about something new that we're doing that I talked about previously on some other podcasts. We're opening submissions for questions on all things starting and running a law firm. So we're going to answer these on future episodes of the podcast. Whether you're dreaming of launching your own firm, or you're knee deep in the trenches and could use a lifeline, or anything in between, we're ready to listen. So the lines are open, and you can submit your video question on our website at MaximumLawyer.com/ask. All right. Until next week, remember that consistent action is the blueprint that turns your goals into reality. Take care.